We'll start with the EFL Cup. We'll start with Manchester United and Newcastle. It's at Wembley. Newcastle hasn't won a major trophy since 1955. They will be without their goalkeeper, Nick Pope, and they will be without their second choice goalkeeper too. They will be playing Loris Karius, right?
Yep.
At Wembley against United. The Red Devils are plus 120, Newcastle plus 240. The draw is plus 230. I think this is pretty simple. The numbers all kind of paint these two teams in a similar light. And yet on a neutral venue, you're getting double the price on Newcastle. Is it because their goalkeeper's out? I hope that's not the reason why. I know United's in great form, but they are also playing their fourth match in what, 13 days, 12 days when this gets played. So I think it's Newcastle here, plus 240. I think it's a good bet. BJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the market has completely fallen in love with Manchester United, given the form they've obviously been in. We're now sitting, what, a plus 110 over Newcastle? I mean, even if you started, Michael, the season on October 5th, after United just got completely pasted by City, and you take away all those horrible results at the beginning of the season, and I give you all these great results the United's had under Ten Hag, they're the best team in the world, he's got them cooking and everything like that. United's been a plus 8.4 or plus 0.84, excuse me, expected goal differential per 90 minutes. Newcastle over that exact same time span has been plus 0.75. So essentially United's just been a hair better than Newcastle. And yeah, I get it. Nick Pope's not going to be in net, and that's obviously hurts Newcastle. But granted, it was 5 years ago, but when Karius was a regular starter for Liverpool, he played around 1990s for Liverpool in the Premier League. He was only a minus 0.7 post-shot XG plus minus keeper. Like, he wasn't horrible. Obviously, everybody sees the huge mistake he made in the Champions League final and just paints him as this terrible keeper. He's not really that. So I don't think, it's obviously a loss, but it's not like it's a catastrophic loss that should drop the line 30 to 40 cents. Plus, Newcastle, as of late, has been without Bruno Guimaraes for the past 3 matches, obviously due to his red card suspension in the EFL Cup semifinals. He is vitally important to their team, maybe the most important player on their entire team, given what he means for them, defending in transition and also starting the build-up play from the back line. And the last time these two teams played, it was a complete stalemate. It was a 0-0 draw at Old Trafford. Expected goals were exactly even. Newcastle let United tilt the field on them about 70%. But what Newcastle did a great job of is they stifled United in build-up play. United only had a 79% build-up completion percentage. Newcastle forced 5 high turnovers and caused a lot of problems. And like we say every single week, that's how Newcastle plays best. When they can sit back, they can set up their pressing traps, they can press high, and they can cause problems. And listen, United was awesome against Leicester. Like, they had the best offensive performance of anybody this Premier League season so far. They created 4.1 expected goals. They had 19 deep completions, 24 10-plus pass sequences. They're not going to be able to build out of the back like they were able to do against Leicester. Also, what we've seen from Manchester United, and I think this is kind of an interesting dilemma that they have to figure out what they're going to do, is that when they play bigger sides like City, like Arsenal, they tend to sit, or even Barcelona, they tend to sit very deep and look to counter and be very direct. Are they going to really do that against Newcastle? Are they going to be the ones that's controlling a lot of possession and then trying to defend in transition? Obviously, they've been better with Casemiro back in the lineup. But yeah, this is a complete market overreaction. This is United's 7th match in 19 days. They have a huge match against Barcelona on Thursday. So, and again, like Anthony mentioned last week, Ten Hag has not rotated anybody. So we are just coming with the same exact team over and over with all this match buildup, while Newcastle's had a full week of rest. This is a tremendous spot for Newcastle. So I like them plus half a goal and minus 130 to at least get this extra time. And I do not hate that play on them to lift the trophy either.
If you've been following me or if you listen to this, that I think both of these attacks have been just like running like gods for the better part of the last half of the season. Now, Newcastle has cooled off quite a bit. I think you're starting to see that the market react to that with this number steaming a little bit toward United. In addition to the goalie, Newcastle has struggled for goals in the last month. We've seen, I think, some signs of can they play from behind effectively? That's been tested. They didn't do great at it. getting separation from teams like West Ham and Bournemouth has been difficult. Held to a draw against Palace, scored late against Fulham. Like there has been some regression, but the defense continues to be pretty solid in my view. And they got opened up by Liverpool a couple times in transition. But overall, I think their defense has been mostly fine. And I do worry a little bit about United defensively because they've conceded at least one expected goal in 5 straight matches, excluding the Leeds match where they conceded in the first minute and were losing pretty much the whole way. So I'm a little worried about the United defense, but they will have Casemiro back for this match, which I think helps. And you mentioned it with Guimaraes too. Essentially, like the 2 best metronomic ball-winning players for each team will be back. And I think what that ultimately does from a tactical point of view is it enables both teams to slow this game down, to keep the other out of transition where they are at their best. And if this game becomes a bit of like a half court in a way, like if you think of it in a basketball way, I actually think that favors the under here. I think both attacks, like Newcastle's, we know is a little bit of a paper tiger, just looking at the talent. You can be like, okay, this team isn't really like a top 4 attack in the league. But United, I mean, look, Marcus Rashford scores a goal every single game. But you look around at like the rest of the team and they're just like Wout Weghorst is not really getting many shots. Sancho has been okay with ball progression, but even his shot numbers have not really returned except for that one half against Leeds. So I think, both of these attacks come in a little inflated still. 2.5 minus 120 to the under. I'm betting that and have bet it. And I think this will be a low scoring affair with hopefully no carious errors. But, Rashford continues to own me. I had the under 3 Sunday, probably my luckiest push of the year.
Yeah. Karius in a cup final.
Gotta back him.
Gotta back him.
I feel like he's going to stand. I feel like he's making a big save.
I mean,
Yeah,
30,
I wish
they
they was,
literally dropped. They were, United was plus 140. And then Newcastle got beat by Liverpool, and then Nick Pope got the red card. And I checked it afterwards, and obviously United put up 1,000 expected goals against Leicester, and now it's plus 110. I'm like, Karius is not, the difference between Karius and Pope is not 30 cents. That's drastic. That's insane. So yeah, Newcastle.
Yeah, I just also don't think United, like they played right through Leicester, like they weren't really there. Once they kind of came back from that like rough start, but you're just like not going to get a Mendy, Dewsbury Hall midfield in this match. Like Newcastle just has so much more ball winning. Like they have actual midfielders. So I just think it's going to be much more difficult. Whereas this Leicester team, man, awful.